The law of sports injury. In recent years, negligence suits against teachers, coaches, physicians, and athletic trainers arising out of sports injuries have increased in both frequency and the amount of damages awarded. Obviously, you see here a court case. Here at the bottom, if you look this website up, it talks about an athlete who won $4.4 million in a lawsuit due to head traumas that were not treated correctly. In this unit, we'll be recovering the following topics: legal terminology, ways to aid the coach and athletic trainer in reducing their chances of being litigated against, product liability considerations, explain the HIPAA regulations and insurance, ethics of sports injury. Liability, the state of being legally responsible for the harm one causes another person. Negligence, the failure to use ordinary or reasonable care. The standard of reasonable care, it assumes that the individual is neither exceptionally skillful nor extraordinarily cautious, but is a person of reasonable and ordinary prudence, meaning they do what their job entails, and they don't go beyond that, but you're doing what is expected. Torts, legal wrongs committed against a person. Act of omission or nonfeasance, the individual fails to perform a legal duty. Like if I as an athletic trainer see somebody that needs CPR and I walk away, I've committed an act of omission or nonfeasance. I haven't done my job because that's my duty. Act of commission or malfeasance, the individual commits an act that is not legally his or her to perform. Like where an orthopedic surgeon who works on bones and joints might try to do brain surgery. That is not their job. Assumption of risk. The individual, through express or implied agreement, assumes that some risk or danger will be involved in the particular undertaking. In other words, a person takes his or her own chances. Like if I have to go work on a fracture, I'm taking the assumption of risk knowing that I'm going to have to split, and there is some risk in doing that I might do it wrong. But I'm taking that assumption of risk that I'm going to do it right when I go in there and take care of somebody. Types of negligence. First, you have contributory negligence. Negligence arising when an injured party is at least partly responsible for an act that causes his or her own injury. Meaning, if they go out there and they find that the person is sued for $60,000, and but they go and they go, well, we don't think that the defense, we don't think that they're all 100% the problem that this happened. They may say, we may think that the person who got injured was 33% responsible. So it's not all the other person's fault. Okay? Comparative negligence. If monetary reward is given, it will be based only on the percentage of negligence assigned to the defendant. So, in the top, if they're asking for $60,000 and they find that the person is 33% responsible for their own injury, they may only get rewarded $40,000, or 2/3 of what they asked for. 4 components of negligence. You have duty, an obligation recognized by the law requiring a person to conform to a certain standard of conduct for the protection of others against reasonable risk. Meaning you have to do your job, which is assigned by law. Like me as an athletic trainer, it is my job by law to perform CPR, to take care of the first aid, to put ice bags on, to do small amounts of rehab. That is my job. I have to do that. If I fail to do that under the law or what is asked of me, I'm not doing my duty. Okay? And then you get into this next term, it's called breach of duty, a failure to conform to the standard required. Meaning if I don't do those things, I'm in trouble. Proximate or legal cause, a reasonably close causal connection between the conduct and the resulting injury. Meaning, if what I did caused more harm, there's proximate or legal cause saying that it caused more harm and caused the injury to be worse. Damage, actual loss resulting to the interest of another. Usually that's monetary. Sometimes it can be physical damages, but usually it's monetary where there's rewards of money given out. Quadriplegia, paralysis affecting all 4 limbs, meaning the arms and the legs. Quadriplegia, all 4 limbs. Paraplegia, paralysis affecting the lower body or just the legs. Para being 2, which would be the legs. You will never have paraplegia where it only affects the arms. Good Samaritan law provides limited protection against legal liability to any person who voluntarily chooses to provide first aid. Doesn't protect someone with a duty to act, like coaches and athletic trainers. Where they hire me to do first aid and CPR, I have to perform that. But somebody who comes in, lay person off the street, and it's not your job, but you see somebody who needs CPR, you do it, and something bad happens, they can't come back and sue you as long as you've done what you were trained to do and not went up and beyond. The statute of limitations sets a specific length of time that individuals may sue for damages from negligence. The average time of that is about 7 years. That can vary from issue to issue, but the main one that there is not a statute of limitations on is murder. There's no statute of limitations on murder, meaning somebody can be tried at any time, even if it's 60 years down the road. Act of nature, or God. This concedes that the injury occurred as a result of factors beyond the control of anyone. It just happened. There wasn't anything that anybody did wrong that caused something bad to happen. It just happened. Sovereign immunity states that neither the government, states that neither the government nor any individual who is employed by the government can be held liable for negligence. Sovereign immunity. It's usually granted by presidents or dictators, people in charge. Malpractice liability. Generating conduct associated with the adverse outcome of patient-athlete treatment. Meaning, you're liable if you do something that adversely affects the outcome of their healing. Americans with Disability Act of 1990. A law passed by Congress in 1990 which established prohibition of discrimination on the basis of disability. The law requires equal access to public buildings and places of employment for people with disabilities. This law was enacted so that all may have the same opportunities in life and in sports. So there are sports for people with disabilities now. And that's okay, because they have that right to participate. Also right here you see a Special Olympics wheelchair race, and this is awesome. I'm glad these people get in and they compete and they train hard for this. Because just because part of their body may not work doesn't mean they don't have the ability to work hard and do the things that people without disabilities can do.